Let's podcast. Alongside Joe Giglio, I'm Joe Ovies inside Eford Studios in downtown Raleigh. Thanks to Empire Properties and thanks to Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com. Print management, document management, you can get everything you need into the cloud. And more importantly, you can save money on print costs, which will be key for you in 2025. So
I know what you want to do today.
What do I want to do today?
You want to talk about UNC's big hire. I texted Bubba Cunningham. I said, congratulations on your hire.
Yeah.
So happy for you and the title and the championship.
Mm-hmm.
The Wolf Blood. I couldn't do it to him. I texted him last night. I'm like, hey, man, congrats on the hire. ... Damon, congratulations on the national championship. UNC women's soccer.
That's good. That's good.
He was like, yes, well-deserved.
Hey, man,
a well-deserved job by Damon Dejas, my friend from NC State, who is now the permanent, if you will. He's no longer the interim women's soccer coach at University of North Carolina. They are the national champions. After winning it last night in Cary, they beat Wake Forest. What a story. And I know my mentor, George Tarantini, is just beaming with just pride and just the delight of knowing that it took the Wolf Blood in the year of the Wolf to deliver North Carolina's first national title in 12 years, which is like an eternity for them.
I know. We talk about
women's soccer.
We talk about the standard being the standard at a lot of different places, and the standards for women's college basketball, women's soccer at North Carolina is to win titles. And yeah, it's been 12 years. And I think for Dejas too, who was on the staff with the UCLA game from 2 years ago.
Yeah, this
has to be somewhat of a redemption arc over the last 2 years to be named the interim. And then take it all the way to the house, beating Duke along the way, by the way. That's
twice, because they had lost their 2 regular season matchups against Duke, beat them in the ACC tournament, and then beat them here in the Final Four. So congrats. I couldn't be happier, for my friend from NC State, and we're going to try to get him on this program tomorrow.
Okay, no, that'll be a lot of fun. Now, speaking of the soccer championship, our friends at Homefield have a championship shirt available right now. Go to homefieldapparel.com. Use that promo code OG24 if you haven't yet. You can save 15% off your order. If you're watching on YouTube, it's there right now. NCAA Women's Soccer Champion, National Champions 2024, Tar Heels. It's a slick shirt. I love the gray. I love how comfortable their shirts are. And you can rep a national championship with our friends at Homefield Apparel. Go to homefieldapparel.com. Use that promo code OG24. You keep mentioning Year of the Wolf Blood, all those types of things, right? Is the North Carolina coaching search part of that homage? Is that part of the Year of the Wolf where North Carolina is saying, hey, how about we run it back like Lee Fowler back in the day?
The John Calipari 6. Man, we had that thing ready to go, didn't we?
Look, here's the thing, y'all. I tweeted this out. I said, North Carolina, the window for me hitting record on this podcast is closing. So either do something right now or don't. Please, it's like curse or don't. Hire Bill Belichick or don't. But it's 11 a.m. Tuesday. It's 60 degrees. UNC ain't got Belichick, and Belichick ain't at UNC. All right, fine. Here's where we're at. Just so y'all know. I might have to do another podcast today. Yesterday sucked because I had enough. This is like, how does it affect Joe Ovies? You might not care. That's fine, but it matters to me. So yesterday, my phone's blowing up like, hey, man, this is real. This is real. This is real. There's rumors of a press conference already set up. I'm like, okay, fine. So I'm expecting to the point where I brought the USB mic, the Rode USB mic with me.
Got to keep that thing ready.
To Wake Competition Center yesterday afternoon. Because I don't know, I might have to do a live podcast from the freaking rink, right? But no, nothing happened. And then the only real Bill Belichick news we ended up getting was him showing up on the Pat McAfee show. And here's where I start getting a little, my mind starts to start cooking up things and my spidey senses start to go off. But I think it's important context to understand where we're at with this coaching search right now. We are here, before we play the McAfee clip that everybody was talking about yesterday. Joe, we are here because you have 2 competing interests playing out in real time.
Yeah.
In the open.
2 competing interests and standoffs.
Yes.
Yeah.
In a way, I know we talk about North Carolina and their value for the Power 2? Would they show to the Big Ten? Would they show up to the SEC? I mean, I don't know. Maybe this is part of the audition process to show the SEC, hey, we can do some shit show coaching searches if you want. We got that.
You think Auburn has the Kremlin politique?
I mean, look, we got an AD at Wake Forest because of what happened at Tennessee, the freaking Game of Thrones that happened at Tennessee.
That's right.
I'm like, we can show you we're about that life. And we started to talk about this last week. And I think in the last 24 hours, it is now plain to see for everybody, not just Inside Carolina reporting, Tar Heel Illustrated reporting, not just News and Observer reporting. We're talking about national guys getting in on this. Bruce Feldman doing a deep dive in the politics at play at North Carolina. Pat Forty at Sports Illustrated showing you the politics at play. Jonathan Jones taking it to a national NFL level, giving you his ties to the university, his sources at the university, and how things are playing out. What it comes down to, this mess that's open for everybody to see, and those who have been listening to this podcast already understand, is that you have Bubba Cunningham, who's trying to run an actual athletic department, like a real athletic department, and trying to get a coach that makes sense for where things are going in college football. And then you have John Pryor, who, again, I should not know who John Pryor's name is. You should not know who John Pryor is. But now everybody knows who John Pryor is, because this year, John Pryor has made it his mission to absolutely be a pain in Bubba's ass. It started back in May when he says, hey, Bubba, this is about ethics in budgeting. I want to see the books. I want to be, what's going on? I want to see the books. What are you talking about? And then the lawsuit happens, and also, for open records laws, and that got shut down real quick because nobody wants to see the books. Okay. And then John Pryor's mad because his boy got fired when the expectation was, oh, no, Mac is going to call his shot. So he makes a big stink about it. And it's fairly obvious that the Bill Belichick portion of this coaching search is being run by people at the board of trustees. And then there's the real football search for a real coach that's playing out with Bubba Cunningham. But here's where we are at. Because the board of trustees guys have absolutely screwed this process, it's almost as if they're left with no choice but to hire Bill Belichick at this point. What's the plan B? Well, your plan B at this point isn't anything that really is going to wow anybody. You've had the top targets that you've wanted or have been rumored. They don't seem to be coming. Okay. The Glenn Schumann thing, I don't see that happening. Obviously, we found out about Summerall, as you said, that kind of dodged the bullet. What did I see hit my timeline yesterday? Jeff Monken at Army? Okay, cool. And now we're also entering into Julius Peppers would sign off on Steve Wilkes as potentially being a head coach. So in a weird sort of...
How far are we from their Sidney Love? This is really the great search of 06.
Dude.
How far are we from Jeff Saturday coming out of the ESPN booth again?
I mean...
to coach.
You're on to something,
plum
man.
job, by the way.
You're on to something. Look, I am just flabbergasted we've gotten to this point where I went into the night thinking, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen, to this morning going, well, what other choice do they have than to try to make this work?
Yeah, you could almost see the wheels turning there. Like, you have the standoff, obviously, between Pryor and Bubba. And let's not forget, Bubba's backed by Lee Roberts. The chancellor's backing Bubba. At least he did on the Mac situation, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the standoff between Belichick and Carolina. Because if Belichick wanted to be Carolina's head coach, why isn't he already their coach?
Yeah.
The portal opened yesterday. You missed signing day a week ago. He's not even employed. He could have been here on signing day. He could have been here when the portal was open. Heck, we could have already had the gentrified Deion Sanders project. You just completely steal his steez.
I'm sorry, the gentrified?
Yeah. It was bad when it was the black man. It was Deion in the NFL. That was bad. But when the old white guy shows up, oh man, no, this is
all
great.
good now. Well, funny.
We're just taking advantage of NIL. We're just taking advantage of the rules. We're going to get you ready for the NFL. It's a pipeline.
It's funny you mentioned that, because
pretty sure pipelines have to last longer than a year, my dude.
That's exactly how it played out. So here's the McAfee appearance with Bill Belichick, and he hits him with the big if. And I want you all to listen closely as to how Bill Belichick frames all of this.
Let me put this in capital letters. If.
Yeah.
I-F.
Got it.
If I was in a college program, the college program would be a pipeline to the NFL for the players that had the ability to play in the NFL. It would be a professional program, training, nutrition, scheme, coaching techniques that would transfer to the NFL. It would be an NFL program at a college level and an education that would get the players ready for their career after football, whether that was the end of their college career or at the end of their pro career. But it would be, geared toward, developing the player, time management, discipline, structure, and all that. That would be life skills, regardless of whether they're in the NFL or in somewhere in business. And I feel very confident that I have the contacts in the National Football League to pave the way for those players that would have the ability to have the opportunity to compete in the National Football League. Whether they're good enough or not, I don't know, but they would be ready for it. I don't have any doubt about that. So that would be the first comment that I would make. Relative to the structure of the program, it would be an NFL program, but not at the NFL level.
Yeah, which is quite a benefit to have the guy that ran the dynasty.
No doubt.
In the middle of this entire thing. Bill, listening to you lay that out, I just thought of every NFL guy's son. Okay, everybody that's ever been in the NFL that has a son that's in there, like Bill Belichick's offering up a one-way trip to how we're doing life. Yeah, we can go. Any expatriate that has a kid, obviously, over all those years, I assume they're going to be like, hey, need you to give my boy a rat. That's a big part of like college, though. It used to be development,
Yes.
Now it's like a big difference. And if you find the right guys, you can build it. And if you got the resources, you can do it anywhere, especially at a P4 program.
So, okay, there's a lot to unpack there. I really don't want to be an asshole, but I'm left with like no choice but to be one. He's talking about, did you hear at any point in the Bill Belichick stump speech about winning?
Yeah.
Was there anything about winning?
Listen,
was there anything about competing for a national championship, competing for the ACC? It was all about, no, I can get guys to the NFL. Buddy, do I need to go back to Chuck Amato? How many guys did Chuck Amato put in the NFL in the first round that one year?
4.
What was their record?
In the ACC, it was 3-5.
Oh, okay. So you see, it's not a 1-for-1. I'm listening to this and I'm thinking to myself, it's the NFL, so they're not paying attention to it. I understand that. But if I'm a college fan, if I'm a North Carolina fan and I'm hearing Bill Belichick talk like that, I'm thinking John Calipari at Kentucky. And how did that end? Yes, they won. Yes, they got that national championship. Yes, they made it to another Final Four in that run. But after a while, it ran out of steam. Why? Because John Calipari kept talking about the greatest moments in Kentucky basketball history being the guys he put in the NBA. Kentucky fans didn't give a shit about that at the end. They wanted to freaking win. They don't care about the NBA pipeline. They wanted to win. That's what it's all about. So I'm hearing this and I'm thinking to myself, dude, if I didn't know any better, North Carolina's getting played. That's what's happening here. The Bill Belichick is making it abundantly clear that he wants to coach. The big knock, the big thing that he discovered was when he left the Patriots, that franchises would be lining up to hire him. And I guess Atlanta was the closest it got to it. It didn't happen because there's this idea that Bill's going to want to run everything. And Bill's trying to make it abundantly clear to everybody, like, no, I just want to coach.
Bill Belichick should have fired Bill Belichick, the GM, a long time ago and would have, under past results, do not equal future performance.
And if that's
okay, that should have happened a long time ago with the Patriots. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
He's 14 wins behind Don Shula for the all-time NFL record.
Right.
He's 72 years old. Even if he takes the Carolina job, at maximum, he takes it for 1 year and then tries to turn it over to his son, Steven. Okay, which is reportedly part of all of this.
Which put a pin in that.
Okay. Here, how about these for a couple of comparisons, right? And I think you would take almost all of these, but Nick Saban was at LSU, was one of the best coaches in college football, decides, you know what? I want to go to a different level. I want to take a different challenge. His first Miami team actually wasn't that bad. They were 9-7. They even beat Bill Belichick Super Bowl champions, the Patriots, down in Miami.
Yeah.
Okay. 9-7. I mean, we're not throwing parades for a 9-7, I don't think. Second team, 6-10, famously says, I'm not going to Alabama. Whatever it was, 2 weeks later goes to Alabama. Okay. How about Bill Walsh? We talked about this before. Bill Walsh was a college coach now, began his career at Stanford, then absolutely revolutionized the NFL. Absolutely. 3 Super Bowls, 10 years, unbelievable quarterback, the whole thing. The template before Belichick even got there. Okay. He goes back to Stanford in 92 after being out of the NFL for 4 years. His first team goes 10-3. Can you absolutely see Bill Belichick coming down here, taking on the likes of Mario Cristobal? I mean, you talk about hiding all of the OG money and assets. You'd have to get me to sign over my my waiver because I would put everything I own on anything that comes close to allowing us to gamble on Bill Belichick against Mario Cristobal in a football game.
All right.
Right?
You've now derailed me because I'm sitting here thinking about like, North Carolina, do you want to be taken seriously? Is it like, I'm sorry, I just can't take any of this seriously. Because also, how long are you going to get Bill Belichick, all that stuff? But now you've got me thinking about, you know what? It's almost like the content gods are blessing us with the potential of Bill Belichick at Carolina.
We get to see him against the likes of Mario Cristobal.
Joe, you're missing.
We get to see him crank the siren
dude.
over at the Lenovo Center. We get to see him yucking it up with Rod Brindamore.
No. You're missing.
The process is the process. Do your job.
You're missing the greatest
points to sign.
You're missing the greatest potential thing that can happen. Okay. You're missing this. The NC State North Carolina games at Carter Finley Stadium on this upcoming season, this next season. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Bill Belichick won't coach circles around Dave Doran. I mean, I think a lot of NC State fans are going, oh my goodness, the guy who just puckers in-game decision-making going up against Bill freaking Belichick. But here's the one advantage that Dave Doran might actually have over Bill Belichick. Dave knows what this game is about. Do you think Bill knows what this game is about? No, he doesn't. So can you envision the night where Dave Doran at NC State beat North Carolina and like the 4 hours that would happen and he would have to go to the hospital to get that thing treated? Okay. You thought a red Solo cup and a cigar was his. We're knocking over cameras at this point. All right. We're never going to hear Joe cranking the siren. No, I want you to envision Bill Belichick at ACC kickoff in Charlotte in a dimly lit lobby with all us jabronis doing 10-minute radio hits. Can you imagine? Ooh. I mean, yeah, we'd probably cook up something dumb. You got Tom O'Brien in your phone?
I think so. I think we get Tom.
You get Tom to come down for that?
Tom went to Navy. Belichick's dad coached in Navy. They were both in Boston at the same time. They actually do have a relationship. I mean,
you just texted Tom.
It would happen. I think we could do it. I think we can get Tom up.
Did you not text Tom about this?
I did. I said, what do you think of your guy, Bill?
What did Tom say?
Going to your favorite school.
What did Tom say?
He said, I don't care. I'm 6-1 against them. So, yeah, they are one of my favorite schools.
I want the icy commander sitting next to him. We're moving on to Cincinnati. How is that not podcast gold, ladies and gentlemen?
I'm just here to talk about UCF.
I would actually do a Mystery Science Theater alt broadcast of Josh Graham's interview with Bill Belichick. Like, I would stop what we're doing just to kick back like this. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm just here for the fireworks. I cannot wait for Josh to have that picture of little baby Bill at Keenan, right?
Oh,
that's been making the rounds. And can you imagine the schmuck, like Tom Renault?
Here's my son reenacting.
Yes.
We just called our shot on that.
Tom Rinaldi's coming out. Tom with the piano. Can you imagine the content? Ooh. So I went to bed last night going, there's no effing way this is happening. Bill Belichick is playing North Carolina. He is playing North Carolina saying, I have stripped the ego and I just want to coach. I don't need control. I want to coach.
See, I want to coach so bad that I'm willing to go to Chapel Hill to set my kid up for next year.
Jerry, do you want that crap show like you just saw on Monday night? Hire me. New York.
Where coaches and players don't even know the rules. Yeah.
There is that. Hire me. Okay. Doug Peterson, why does he still have a job? Hire me. Okay. So Bill's like, that's why he keeps going on TV to talk about the Carolina job. I'm convinced of it. He's going on TV to talk about the Carolina job because he wants you to hire him in the NFL. But they might be going, nah. So now they're looking at each other in this weird game of chicken.
Yeah.
And you have to make it happen. And now I want it to happen as I'm playing this out in real time. I'm like, no, I want this to happen because the content will be amazing.
Walsh, by the way, that first year 10-3, next 2 years 4-7, 3-7-1.
Okay.
Bill Belichick, by the way, just in case anyone's confused. So I obviously Bill Belichick, if he were to be North Carolina's coach next year, they would win 9 or 10 games.
Yeah.
I have very little doubt about that.
But they win the NC State game.
However, it is important to note Bill Belichick with Tom Brady won 77% of his football games. Without him, 45% of his football games. Oh, keep in mind this too, for all people who are like, oh no, coaching this and that. Bill Belichick was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Nick fucking Saban was his defensive coordinator. The two greatest coaches of all time were together. They averaged 7 wins per year. Okay.
Wow. I'm refreshing Twitter as the day goes on. If you see me on YouTube, I keep checking my phone because I want to make sure I don't miss anything and we don't have to do 2 podcasts today. Ross Martin, Bill Belichick, UNC mentioned in a tease on ESPN's First Take, former UNC star offensive lineman Jeff Saturday on set yelling Tar Heels and Chapel Hill in the background. And Joe, you might have stumbled into something. Maybe we do end up at the point where it's Jeff Saturday.
Sidney Lowe, let's go.
If it really is the year of the wolf, the homage to that amazing coaching search when Herb left for the desert, it's the only thing appropriate to happen to close out the year.
Housekeeping.
Thanks to Enovana. You can check them out online at enovana.com.
If you have messes at your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it clean with Enovana.
You can give the gift of Enovana. You can do a one-time cleaning for yourself or for somebody in your life. So go ahead and get on top of that. Go to enovana.com. You can also give the gift of the OG. That's right. Go to breakingtea.com/OG. You can see the Ovies and Giglio collection. We have like the OG flag shirt. We can put that on a hoodie if you want. It's all there at breakingtea.com/OG. At checkout, use the promo code OG to save 10% off that shirt order, and you'll get a free mystery shirt from Breaking Tea.
Mysteries are good.
I've taken advantage of the mystery shirts in the past for my brother and my dad. I like, just give me a Miami mystery shirt. You don't know what you truly do not know what you're going to get.
Dealer's choice.
And look, Breaking Tea makes some really comfortable shirts and they got some cool designs, so you don't know what you are going to get. Speaking of family, actually, no, before family, OG Tailgate.
Yeah, Sunday.
It's Sunday.
3:00. We're going to have a grill. We're going to grill responsibly with our friends from Nature's Relief. Hot dogs? You want anything besides hot dogs? Do we need to get any fancier than that?
No, hot dogs are fine.
Okay. Some beer?
Yeah.
If you did purchase OG swag, available. I know I got one guy, Freddie. Shout out to Freddie, coming out on Sunday to pick up his OG rollback swag.
That'll be great.
So we'll be there for 2 hours, been hanging out, been doing our normal thing. Just this year, I'm not going to break anything, knock on wood. No Weller this year?
No.
Just Natty Lights.
Let's just
okay, I can handle Natty Lights.
You do not handle the brown liquor very, very well. Also, no sippers from you.
It can go down.
Yeah, no sippers for you from Nature's Relief either, because you'll just fall asleep in a tailgate chair and you won't go into the game. Which maybe not a bad thing. Go to naturesreliefhempstore.com. Maybe you're not going to the game, you can't hang out with us, but you're going to be hanging out with family and you got to take a little bit of the edge off. naturesreliefhempstore.com.
Always a win.
Maybe I need to take some Nature's Relief, some goodies from Nature's Relief, because the Bill Belichick thing throughout the day is giving me anxiety.
You're fired up yesterday.
I was, man, because I had to plan my day.
All right, we got to do another show. Man.
I get you.
You used to do 4 hours of radio, buddy.
Yeah, there could be some radio scars coming up on today's show. And you know what happens when I'm in my feelings? I eat.
Oh, that's a good call.
You know what's really good when you're eating your feelings? Ice cream. You know what's even better?
All of the different Christmas holiday options that Jared has for you at Two Roosters. You're going to give it the official name, but he pulled a real Swiftie here with this 12 days of Christmas thing. It's an advent calendar. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, 12 days of Christmas mystery flavor countdown is available. There's a Yule log, an ice cream Yule log, peppermint crack bar ice cream cake, non-dairy Christmas cookie cake, gingerbread people. They even bagged up some of their mix-ins like the crack bar, the butterscotch haystacks, and the candied pecans.
I noticed that. I saw that.
It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. By all means, go to tworoosters.com. Again, family is the theme here. Maybe
trying to get rid of your family? Or?
I mean, maybe you have to put a contract in place when you get together for the holidays.
Well, maybe you're trying to look out for your family. Get Steven that job. Get your fail son a job.
There's that, right? So
hey,
guys, I want to make sure that my guy is the coach in waiting. Well, Whitaker and Hamer can probably knock that contract out, right?
I would hope Carolina would talk to them too. Be like, hey, so how do we get out of this if we do get him to come down here to coach for a year? So that his kid can't be the coach who follows him.
Hey, Bill Belichick, do you need a home? Governor's Club.
Oh,
We got people for you too.
Hometown Realty, myhtr.com. Buy, sell with confidence.
Calculate as well, so you know what you're paying for. You know what you can afford. So go to myhtr.com.
Catch any of the Adrian Wojnarowski? Somebody recently caught up with him. They did a whole thing with him. He's literally living over a bar in Olean, New York.
I did not see
St.
this.
Bonaventures.
I did not see this.
I mean, if there's not somewhere near he's not that bachelor pad Belichick can live, please tell me this is a real thing. Although Steven, the Fail son's got to live with him. So, I mean, there's got to
get
be
his own place.
There's got to be something for him and his 24-year-old girlfriend who apparently is into nutrition. Maybe she'll be the head nutrition. I mean, this could be a whole family thing for Bill. Maybe he can get to everybody a job.
I mean, we've seen that at Carolina before, but I believe
just no flying off to see them play basketball.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Night.
I believe Stephen Belichick would live more towards like the Al's Burger Shack, Beer Study, Baxter Arcade area.
Okay.
Like right across from the Mule. Something tells me that's where he'd probably hang out. Bill's more likely to be, I gotta imagine that Bill's more Governor's Club, right?
For the record, you and I would absolutely move into the downstairs of bitches.
Oh,
if it were to come to something like
easily.
this.
Easily.
We would just move in.
Easily. No,
I'm on campus, man. I mean,
I didn't see I've seen clips of the Wojnarowski interview that he did with Carmelo.
Okay, different.
And I thought it was really compelling because he talked about like he has prostate cancer scare. He's looking at what happened. Really enlightening thing about like Chris Mortensen passing away. And he noticed that like a lot of ESPNers didn't show up for the funeral. And he had this realization in that moment. I'm like a lot of us will hit at different points. Everybody runs their own race. And they're like, man, this job ain't going to love you back. And he talked about breaking this news as vapor. And he's right. I always wondered, like, what are we really accomplishing here when you tell me that some C-level NBA basketball player signs a contract that I'm supposed to care about it and get 30 minutes of coverage on NBA Live? Like, I don't get that. So I think Bill or Adrian Wojnarowski had that realization, which is like last night, I'm like, all right, what's on? This Monday Night Football game is terrible. The Simpsons broadcast, I checked it out, was amusing, right? It was funny to see Jamar Chase as Lisa Simpson, scorching down the sideline, or Homer Simpson zinging passes. Like, that's funny to me, but I'm like, all right, moving on. So I watched the Yacht Rock documentary last night on
Simmons,
HBO.
Yeah.
I was thoroughly impressed. I went into it thinking it was going to be some sort of cringy, like all the base, terrible things about Yacht Rock. People wearing the captain's hats and like the Yacht Rock reviews, like the super cheesy drunk people having a good time thinking it's an actual boating thing. No. Right out of the gate, they made fun of that and said, no. The reason why it's called Yacht Rock is because the comedians who dubbed it Yacht Rock back in 2005 were convinced that this music sounded like it was $1 million. Like this was money. Like you could hear how expensive this music was, as in a yacht.
Yeah.
Right. So it was incredibly well done. And you need to watch it because it really was a love letter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Steely Dan in there, which, that speaks to me.
Sure.
But it really, it kind of
the gold.
It kind of turned out into a love letter to Michael McDonald. And the part that you'll find amusing, because it ties into our own podcast, where the podcast music you hear when we start is essentially the Doobie Brothers bounce. And it was amusing to me when they went through, ripped through 30 different tracks that essentially ripped off What a Fool Believes for that Doobie Brothers bounce with Michael McDonald. There's like 30 some odd tracks that all have that kind of like boom, 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 boom. I'm like, oh man, like all the, I can hear it. Right. So go watch it. It's really, really good. Now, to the rest of the NFL, shall we? Yeah, we talked about the Dallas Cowboys more in the Bill Belichick tone, but let's talk about the Carolina Panthers. Joe, are you sitting down?
I am. I'm checking the calendar too, because it's December 10th, which means we've waited 4 months for the head coach who was hired to fix their franchise quarterback to finally say something nice.
Are you
about the franchise quarterback?
Are you prepared for Dave Canales to actually say something nice? Are you prepared?
I am ready.
Okay, so here's the setup. Mike K, Charlotte Observer, great job covering the Panthers, asked about Bryce Young's development and how he's more comfortable on the field and Dave Canales seems more comfortable with him on the field. And it's how Canales closed his comments that put me on the fainting couch.
During this last 6 weeks or even Sunday, obviously it's a two-way street between the play caller and the quarterback and everything. Is there a play, without getting into too much strategy, that you called that he performed better than maybe the initial concept was, or maybe kind of had to improvise and adjust to the play calling? Like maybe do you have an example of that?
Yeah, multiple times. I mean, just getting to different checks, I don't want to talk about our scheme specifically, but it happened a couple times where their coverage was better than the play I called, and he extends the play and finds a completion or throws an incompletion, when they got us completely covered in field goal range. It was like early in the game, we're like in a 2nd and 7 in field goal range to get our first 3 points, and the concept is gloved. He didn't have a lane, throws it away, and we live to see another down after that. So just making decisions like that, is part of the position, and I would love to say that, I know exactly what the coordinator is going to do in all these situations. It's just not true. And that's where the ownership of the quarterback and the group to start the second play. This one's dead. All right, here comes the second play. We start moving, and to see the effort of the offensive line using their hands, disengaging, the whole thing fitting in like that. But yeah, he certainly saved my bacon a couple times out there.
Saved his bacon? What?
It's almost like high praise.
What? Excuse me? That's insane. I love that. No, look, I've been saying this about the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young and Dave Canales. I said this yesterday. It looks like they have the bones of a decent team. Now they just have to make the right decisions with the front office to put everybody in a position of success to truly see if Bryce Young is the answer at quarterback. Fine, so be it. We'll see where it goes. But the fact that Canales is now saying this and talking in this way truly shows me something, truly shows me that perhaps Bryce Young has finally earned that trust out of Canales, which is great progress. And he's even handling like a question from David Newton, I'm going to paraphrase here, that he asked like, hey, if Andy Dalton doesn't get in that car accident, are we here? Right? Which is a great question.
If you think about it.
Great question. And Dave handled it like, yeah, look, man, we can get into hypotheticals, but ultimately you got to take advantage of your opportunity, which is exactly what Bryce Young, because let's not forget, when Andy Dalton looked like he was healthy to get back on the field, Dave Canales was still playing this is a week-to-week proposition. It was never like, oh, he looked decent, so Bryce Young, it's his job. No, it was still kind of up in the air. But now we know there's enough there for Bryce Young. Okay.
He's also been, for whatever reason, hesitant to give the guy any kind of praise.
Hold, please. We're doing this live to tape as always. And of course, as I've been monitoring things as it relates to Carolina and Bill Belichick, hold, please. Let me see if I can pull up this tweet thread from a guy who has been tweeting. Hold on a second. Folks, I'm leaving all this in there because this is what you guys come for. You guys come for the raw. You guys come for the real. So let's see what we got here. Let me pull this up onto my Chrome. This is from Ollie Conley, who's a newsletter guy, read optional, Guardian US, previous NFL college football scout recruiting analyst. So let's pull up this tweet thread, shall we? The original tweet was from December 6th. Per sources, I'm told Bill Belichick's negotiations with North Carolina include a guarantee that Stephen Belichick will be named the school's head coach in waiting. UNC is open to the guarantee. Update. Belichick has agreed to become the next UNC coach. Belichick handed the school a 400-page organizational Bible with structure, payment plans, staffing choices, etc., decisions on whether to commit with UNC. He is expected to know their decision within 24 hours. Belichick's Bible would include, or Belichick's Bible would require historic levels of investment from the school, includes salary minimum positions by position, and a willingness to hire 2 staffs, a coaching staff run by Belichick, a recruitment staff run by a sitting college general manager who would require a buyout. Belichick has a college and pro version of his updated manual and has shared it with other schools and NFL teams, but he drafted a new one specific to North Carolina that touched on every aspect of the program, and the school will need a sign off from the AD, the chancellor, the trustees, and the boosters. There has been pushback from the group of 13 trustees with input from wider faculty. The investment would overhaul the school's approach to football. Belichick unsure if school will meet the demands and is willing to negotiate. So here we go with the continued game of chicken, right?
Hey,
I will be your coach.
I'll do it if. ...
Okay. If you're Carolina, why not?
Where does it leave you next year? Where does it leave you in, I mean, you could say it's a next year problem. It's a 2025 problem, as you like to say. But
yeah,
realistically, here's a guy 15 wins behind Don Shula. Like, even if he comes and coaches, how long does he want to do it for?
I don't know.
Beyond a year. Even if it is a year, does he want to do it? I don't see it. It might happen because maybe he's getting word back from the Giants. I mean, he should know everybody in the Giants organization.
You'd think so.
I mean, there should be plenty of NFL teams. They might all be saying, cool, we don't want you. Maybe they are sending him that signal, or his agent sending him that signal that you're not going to coach in the NFL. But for the life of me, I can't think of why he, this close to a record, and don't tell me he's not competitive, after everyone's been dunking on him about what Brady's been able to do without him and what he can't do without Brady.
I go back to something you said last week about the power play, the squeezing of Bubba Cunningham.
Yeah.
Here are my demands. And if it doesn't, let's say, I mean, come on. You're telling me that North Carolina, as political as it is, wants to agree to all the things that Bill Belichick wants, and like an actual true investment into football?
The non-starter should be his son.
And there's the son
That
part.
should be a non-starter.
So what's going to happen, this is where you're right. Last week when you said this was a squeeze on Bubba Cunningham, if it doesn't pan out as of this recording, right? If it doesn't pan out, how is it going to be played?
Oh,
you could have had Bill Belichick.
Right.
Instead, you ended
From
up
the
with,
beginning.
Instead, you ended up with Freddie Kitchens, who ends up having the speaking of interim tags that get stripped. I mean, it's not a knock on Freddie Kitchens. I'm just saying,
right.
I mean, we could be headed in that direction for all we know.
Yeah, they're collecting former Browns coaches at this point.
Thanks to our friends over at DraftKings. Check them out. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app as the NFL season rolls along. We understand who the contenders and the pretenders are, right? So maybe you want to take advantage of that. But there's one thing that never changes all season long. DraftKings is an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and the #1 place to bet touchdowns. They don't care how you get them. They just want you to bet on touchdowns, and DraftKings is the place to do it. And here's another fun fact as we were talking about the Panthers. The Panthers are favored over the Cowboys. That's the first time Carolina's been a favorite in how long, Joe?
I don't know the answer to that.
Right now, they're either a 1 or a 1.5 point favorite, depending on where you look. We are all about DraftKings, right? That's the first time in 2 years. In 2 years, the Panthers have been favored. Last time they were favored was on December 18th, 2022 against the Steelers. They were a 2.5 point favorite. Steelers actually ended up winning that game 24-16. So congratulations to the Carolina Panthers. Favorite, baby. Panthers are also doing the thing where they're kind of setting other franchises off their access, right? So then when they won a game, you saw what happened, right? Like guys get fired. Or in the case of the Giants, Daniel Jones says, "Get the hell out, Daniel. We ain't paying you all that money," right? They almost beat the Eagles. And this week, the Eagles have been all in disarray over he said, she said kind of stuff, right? You got drama with A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts and a guy popping off on WIP and now having to take it back today. Like, what is happening, man? You guys won. You're in the middle of a winning streak. You're Super Bowl contenders. I thought everything was cool. But you almost lost to the Panthers.
Not allowed.
That is not allowed. Anyway, score big with DraftKings. #1 place to bet touchdowns and a favorite place of ours for the Carolina Hurricanes, Joe.
Yeah, first 10 minutes, first 5 minutes, first 5 race to first 5 shots. A lot of different action on the Canes in a way that you can go over there and have some fun.
So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code OG24. New customers will get $150 in bonus bets when you win your first bet. It's only on DraftKings. So again, here's how it works. Use the promo code, bet $5, and you get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. So head on over to DraftKings, download the app today, use that promo code. And for new customers, to get $150 in bonus bets, you bet $5. And if your bet wins, those bonuses kick in. So big thanks to our friends over at DraftKings.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
Big thanks to our friends at Roback. Check them out online at roback.com. Use the promo code OG20 for all your Christmas giving ideas. The Roback OGs are done, though. Shout out to the people who actually listened. You called this. What?
No, I listen. Roback has been great to us, and I'm laughing too because I have Doug Wharf's Roback shipment, so he gets Santa Roback at the arena tonight.
Good,
so
I love that.
Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones. If they love golf, if they like to sweat, if they like to be comfortable while they're sweating, go to Roback, RHOback.com. Use our promo code OG20. Save that 20%.
Speaking of sweating, O2 Fitness, they are more than just a gym.
O2 Fitness, so much more than a gym.
Get yourself Roback. The performance tees are fantastic. Their gym shorts are fantastic. Go to O2 Fitness Clubs, O2fitnessclubs.com, and go get that sweat in. Do the pre-work now for all that Christmas stuff. The Two Roosters ice cream, the desserts, the ham, the turkeys. Treat yourself, and then go sweat it out with our friends at O2 Fitness. But it's more than just a gym. You were at Renew Physiotherapy earlier this week, Joe.
Yeah, physical therapy. Sometimes it's a process. Sometimes you got to put the work in. But it's worth it.
We're going to take a hockey break. I'm sorry. Giglio is going to take a hockey break today.
Let's take a hockey break. Brought to you by Happy and Hale.
So Happy and Hale, we're talking about like pre-gaming, get the pre-workout. Well, go ahead and get the roughage in now. The thing about Happy and Hale, like I said, yes, it is healthier options, but you're not compromising on flavor. You're not compromising on feeling full. It's all great stuff at Happy and Hale. Download the app to make it super easy to pick up for lunch or dinner. And then, of course, they're always coming out with new stuff like that.
The hot honey chicken, I was anticipating and looking forward to the chicken itself, the sweet potatoes that are in there, but I was not prepared for the pumpkin seeds. What a crunch. I don't know how Tyler and his crew come up with these combinations. It's amazing.
And of course, the Lightning Round brought to you by Sam Jones. Check them out in downtown Raleigh. We've been talking about the Military Bowl being the Sam Jones Bowl. Sam Jones in Greenville, Sam Jones in Raleigh. We've been highlighting the fact that if you got family in town or you're just looking for a night out, downtown Raleigh's got the Illuminate Art Walk, which is really, really cool. So hit Sam Jones for dinner and then go walk around downtown Raleigh. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get James a couple of different sides when we go to Sam Jones Thursday.
Yeah.
And explain to him why this ECU NC State game matters and how we got here and why people still fondly remember the 1992 Peach Bowl, because that was the best team in ECU history. The 91 season, they had Jeff Blake as their quarterback. They're a fantastic team, unbelievable team. But you got to remember, NC State and ECU had stopped playing because of a fight that had happened at the end of a game in Raleigh.
Yeah.
The two teams used to only play in Raleigh. All right. So the series was discontinued. So the Peach Bowl was actually a chance. NC State was really good under Dick Sheridan. They were 9-2. ECU had a really good season with Jeff Blake. So it was the only real chance to get to see these two teams play. ECU has an incredible comeback. They win the game. And yes, people still fondly remember that game because it is the best team in school history for the Pirates.
It's funny. Was I a little harsh yesterday when I said, are people really thinking about the 1992 Peach Bowl between NC State? Do people really think there's heat between these two programs because what happened in 1992? Was I being a little harsh with that? Yes, I was being a little bit harsh with that. Apologies. Because, our guy, Jason Jennings, pointed out that, hey, man, how much for this? And it's the stein, it's a beer stein from the 92 Peach Bowl, January 1, right? He had that.
You think that was a media gift, or you think he bought that?
He said his dad. He said Jay brought it back. His dad brought it back. I would imagine that was something that was purchased. I don't think that was a media gift. I could be wrong. Jason can obviously correct us on that. I just see that and I think to myself, dads of a certain age all have those. I look at that, I'm like, you know that your dad has one of these for his favorite team or a championship somewhere in the house.
He drank some shitty beer out of it too.
And they all have pens in them now. Or an X-Acto knife, like my dad. Pretty sure that 83 Orange Bowl has an X-Acto knife in it. But regardless, you have to be of a certain age. Or our guy Taz, again, he's like, I'm about to turn 30, and I care about the 92 Peach Bowl. I bring it up all the time. This is a piece of the upright that my grandfather purchased. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm showing you the thing. It's got a little plaque that says, I believe, with the final score, ECU 37, NC State 34. It's more like, it's just where we're at. It's just things are different now, right? Which
bowl games and their significance have changed. I mean,
which actually gets us into a lightning round item about how things are different and bowl games are different and college football is different. And it's almost like there's no loyalty anymore.
We've got a lot to get to. It's a lightning round.
When we last left Duke football, Joe, the trajectory was like the Stonks meme. It's going up, right? Look at the trajectory of this program. Maalik Murphy's coming back. It's going to be great. Here we go. Except that Maalik Murphy is not coming back. He is entering the transfer portal, Joe. I got to imagine that this is something that college football fans and college football media, or media in general, are not prepared for. That you think that, hey, man, you had a good year here. We're going in the right direction. Duke has been very open about general managers and NIL and playing the game, but it still didn't work out. It worked out for CJ Bailey at NC State because it looks like that was a priority for CJ Bailey at NC State, and I'm sure there was a little bit more money coming down the line. They secured the bag with Savage Wolves. What do you think's playing out here with Maalik Murphy?
I suspect Maalik Murphy was a top recruit at Texas, by the way. He was Quinn Ewers' backup the year before.
Mm-hmm.
He ends up transferring. He was one of the top quarterbacks in the transfer portal last year. You know, Nina King hired Manny Diaz for the ability to handle this new era. And was it a home run with Murphy? I don't know. I mean, he was good. I mean, they were good. He was good enough.
Yeah.
But they might have looked at him and said, hey, man, we paid you a round number. You know, who knows? $500,000, $1 million, whatever they paid him. He was their highest paid player on their team last year.
Sure.
So now you have to look at that and go, well, did we get a return? Or is it possible, given we're going to lose some of our skill players at the running back and receiver positions, maybe we're better off going to get a different quarterback and paying other players? Kind of like NC State has learned, you know, by going out and getting Grayson McCall and Brennan Armstrong. Sometimes you have to do the smart thing. Maybe that's what Duke's doing here.
Yeah, that's entirely possible what Duke is doing here. So my curiosity is, all right, well, if they're going to prioritize something else, well, maybe they have to have a plan, right? Well, it turns out they do look like they have a plan. According to Pete Thamel on Twitter, Tulane quarterback Darian Mensah is scheduled to visit with Duke today. Per sources, he's ESPN's #1 overall portal recruit. This is his first visit. So it's funny how this is the thing that I think fans have to dial back a little bit. You're going to get mad at Maalik Murphy. You're going to accuse Lane Kiffin of tampering because he just tweeted out a story about Maalik Murphy transferring from Duke or entering the transfer portal, right? And people are like, well, what's he doing here? Is he trying to send a message to Maalik Murphy? And as Andy Staples of On 3 pointed out, I don't think Maalik Murphy's backing up whichever quarterback they've got at Ole Miss. I forgot the guy's name. That's neither here nor there. The point is that much like Mac Brown, we were not making fun of Mac Brown when he was talking about his press conference in the portal and looking at roster management. They're thinking about all sorts of stuff. It goes beyond who you're going to sign. It's also identifying who can we get. We've talked to coaches about this at the ACC kickoff of understanding who is out there that could be entering the portal. And if they do, are you ready to talk to them and keep this thing going? Especially considering that it opens up the minute the conference championship games are over.
Yes, open up on Monday.
Like, let's go, right? So let's see where it plays out with Duke before people get a little too upset with how this all plays out. That's all I'm saying.
A fantastic suggestion from loyal listener Steve.
Mm-hmm.
FOIA Belichick's 400-page Bible.
Oh yeah, that's
right
now.
Yeah,
right now. I'm actually, again, I am refreshing Twitter.
No. I want to see the Bible. I want to see the Bible.
No, I'm with you on that. But look, North Carolina is running.
Whitaker and Hamer. Talk dirty to me, baby.
Right?
Get that for me.
Here's my question. Who is creating more drama this week? North Carolina's coaching search with Bill Belichick and all the stuff that's going on? Or is it Ohio State and the infighting that's taking place ahead of their playoff game? This is a team in the playoffs, by the way. And yet the vibes around Ohio State are not immaculate. Joe, are you ready for a victory lap?
I am, and I get it. It comes from a more important person than me, but sounds very, very familiar.
So I missed this on Sunday during the selection show, and Kirk Herbstreit, when they find out that Ohio State is going to be playing a home game, Kirk was like, oh, no, this is bad.
After the way the Ohio State season ended against Michigan, I don't know if it would have been better for Ohio State to go on the road to get away from their home crowd that'll be booing after their third down, not converting, and the punter comes out, booing Ryan Day. They'll have to rally and have a good start to that game, or it could turn sideways.
Have I not heard? I've heard that before.
That's weird.
But there's a little bit more context here. He does that. And then over on 97.1, The Fan or The Game or whatever it is. Tim Hall. Shout out to Tim Hall, my former colleague over at 99.9 The Fan. He is a guy who's been doing Ohio State stuff for a while now. And their host decides to come on and go hard in the paint with Kirk Herbstreit.
Playoff bracket unveiled yesterday.
I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Y'all, you gonna bump back with POD boom at this point?
Let the bodies hit the floor.
Oh, yeah, I need some. Yes, that's what I need. A little AC/DC, Back in Black. You want to do that? A little For Whom the Bell Tolls. That's a real dramatic way to come back into a radio segment.
It's fourth down in the fourth quarter.
Let's talk some pretty good football. It's for October all the time. Come on, y'all. Anyway, sorry. That took me back for a second.
By the way, I like how everybody's just discovering now that Kirk Herbstreit's a douchebag. Like, I've been talking about this for 20 years. Welcome to my world. Now, there's stuff behind the scenes, and there's some personal stuff that goes into my story. But this is a guy who's always been ashamed of college football fans. This is a guy who makes his living talking down to you. Mm-hmm. For some reason, people still eat it up. They think he's the everyman. Oh, look at him. Well, no, because look at him and his dog.
Oh, this makes sense. The show's name is The Common Man and like T-Bone. So he's the common man, not Kirk Herbstreit. Low key, he actually has a little bit of a point with Kirk Herbstreit and how he talks down to college football fans. This is as one media analyst, one of like the media guys who critiques, right, says that sometimes Kirk lets Twitter Kirk show up on TV. And I'm like, dude, that's real. But I'm not going to go so far to call the guy a douchebag. But man, I thought the vibes around Carolina were off when it comes to football. Goodness gracious.
Let's do it, man.
It only ends one way, Joe.
Yeah, let's do it.
It only ends one way.
Set them free. Send them down to Chapel Hill.
Honestly, it's the only way this thing's going to work out. The only way it's going to work out. Big thanks to our friends at Breeze Through. Check them out online at breezethrough.com. You're going to be getting on the road. You're going to do a little traveling. You need some snacks. You got to stay awake. They got everything you need there. So head on over to breezethrough.com and check them out. If you're going to the Canes game tonight.
Well, tonight or Sunday for the tailgate.
Ahead of the tailgate. Get all your tailgate needs. That's what it's all about.
Get my ice, get my drinks.
Now, speaking of the tailgate, Butcher's Market Hot Dogs is where we're going to be going with this,
yes.
Right? Now, you're not making Kenneth work.
No. And I'm getting the good hot dogs.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You're running out of time for catering needs, though. So let's get on that now. If you got to knock out some catering for your house, for your home office, or for your office, I should say, contact our friends at the Butcher's Market right now to lock that in. Or if you just need something to pick up as like a side as you're going to a party, they got you too. So go check out our friends at the Butcher's Market. Of course, our friends at State Farm can help you save money in 2025. Start thinking about how you can save money on home and auto with our friend Matt Davis over at State Farm. InsureGarner.com, TheOGInsurance.com, or call them directly at 919-779-8277. And of course, speaking of your home, you want to make sure that it's pest-free. You don't want those critters inside. You don't want termites getting to you. Bugsbite.com, Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority can help you out with that. And you can bundle and save right now when you go to that website and combine Mosquito Authority and Pest.
Housekeeping.
Wait, what? More housekeeping? Yes, Dimitri Ravanos. He is the brainchild behind OG fans, OGTriangleMedia.com. Dimitri, what's going on, man?
I wanted to check in with you guys just to make sure the ACC got the benefit of the doubt over Alabama. Do you guys still have a show? Are you okay?
We were on our fainting couch on Sunday.
My stars.
I do declare that the ACC got the benefit of the doubt. Hey, man. Hey, Dimitri, Alabama boy. Dude, don't lose to freaking Vanderbilt. Don't lose to Oklahoma.
Listen, I think Alabama
what's Greg? But now, since you brought it up, Greg Burns out here tweeting freaking through it like, we got to look at our non-conference scheduling. You played fucking Mercer.
I'm sorry. Did you see my tweet? You're talking to the wrong person. I tweeted back that as an alum, this is fucking embarrassing.
Okay, good. I did not see your tweet.
I think Alabama has the better resume, but I don't think that you can compare them to SMU in terms of who is more deserving. I think that's a foolish argument. Of course,
I'm going to paraphrase Joel Anderson from the Ringers press box show last week, where and Joel watches all sorts of college sports, so he gets it. And he talking about Alabama, talking about SMU, talking about Ole Miss. All of this falls in line in the we're spending all this time in March talking about Syracuse basketball for what? It's an average ass team, but I guess they're the last one in, so we got to make some sort of argument. And who knows? Maybe they go to the Final Four. Maybe they don't make it out of the first round. But why are we wasting all this time talking about Syracuse basketball, an average basketball team? I feel like the same thing with this Bama team. Like, what are we freaking doing here?
If I could play Joe Ovies and one of my very best friends, Lauren Brownlow, for a moment. I guess ESPN had corporate relationships to protect in this case.
Yes, you're right. They were doing Jim. Yeah, because they always do Jim Phillips a solid. Speaking of corporate relationships, and speaking of friends, Bomani Jones is bringing the Basketball Jones to the Rialto. Go to Rialto.com. Fun and frivolity for all. Tickets are available right now. Selling like hotcakes. You better get it now.
The hottest cakes imaginable, in that people will not touch them, Joe Ovies.
Well, I told you, people aren't thinking about basketball right now. But
that's right.
Once we get into the new year, it's going to be fun. So Tyler Hansbrough is going to be there. Marcus Ginyard's going to be there. We're going to be there. It's going to be a good time. And Bomani's fun in person, man. The jokes.
Yes. Yeah, local Bo has a flavor that the rest of the country does not get to know.
You're right.
Will you please text me and remind me to get the picture of Hansbrough jumping off the roof, blown up onto the foam board, so that from our guys at Color Graphic.
Yeah.
Do you want it blown up on the foam board, or do you want me to put it on the big backdrop like we had?
No, we'll do both. That's a cool gift. We'll get it and we'll bring it for him.
And speaking of gifts, we've talked about breakingt.com/OG. Use that promo code OG to get 10% off your OG merch and a free mystery t-shirt from Breaking T. But we can give the gift of the OG. You can gift an OG fan subscription, right?
You absolutely can. Like it is a button right at the top of OGTriangleMedia.com.
It is.
And I feel like you guys have already done this on OG Stands on Business, but you've cleaned up finally the gifts that you promised our subscribers.
I sent out an email yesterday morning, Joe, and said that Ovies and I were at Bay 6 really making business down at the business factory. And we are about to send out a chance for people to choose their gifts for our Founders Club subscribers.
Look, I said, if we're going to do this, let's do it right.
Right.
Okay? Let's do it right. That's
Which
all.
Which is a way of saying we are going to take our sweet time.
Yes. And Dimitri has to stop playing college football 25. I think, honestly, that's the reason why.
Speaking of housekeeping, we need to actually look at the college football playoff schedule.
Yeah.
So we can go over to Shady's and play an NCAA 25 tournament.
That would be fun.
Proper like.
That would be fun. All right. Now, the reason why we have Dimitri on right now is because Dimitri has Hurricanes tickets for tonight's game against
the Sharks.
Love it. So there are some stipulations here, though. They have to sit next to you.
Yeah, we have a 4-pack of tickets for like one of the quarter season packages, and my daughter has the second night of her chorus concert tonight. Yeah. So my wife is on parent duty as I went last night.
Okay.
So there are 2 tickets. You will be sitting next to my son and I, but the stipulations are: you cannot talk to my son, and you cannot look me in the eye.
Do not look direct. Do not
look directly in the eye. There is it's an old business practice, center of the forehead.
So speaking of business, I feel like if we're going to give away tickets and you're here chatting with us, it's time to tap into Dimitri's binder of radio.
Yes, sir.
Tell me it's December without telling me it's December.
We're in the holiday book, Dimitri.
Yes.
Let's go.
It's true. Giglio, I do want some credit, though, for even though we are in December, the binder of radio bits is always timely. And today, we are going to be playing a game called Bill Belichick Math, celebrating the future head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels, perhaps the future former head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. I'm going to ask you guys about a series of things and what they are math-wise in relationship to things that have to do with Bill Belichick. Here's an example for you. Joe Ovies, this one is for you. If I were to ask you who is the queen of Christmas music, you would say
Mariah Carey.
I'm sorry, you would say the original queen of Christmas music is?
Oh, Darlene Love?
Darlene Love.
Okay.
All right. Who is older, Bill Belichick or Darlene Love?
Oh. I'm gonna go Darlene Love.
At 83 years old, Darlene Love is older than Bill Belichick. Very good. Giglio, you today at OG Fans.
Just hold on. I live for these. I absolutely live for these. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm here to do this for you. All right. So, Giglio, you wrote today about Bill Belichick and the University of North Carolina, who may or may not want to hire him, but it very certainly very much do want to use his name to stay in the news right now.
Sure.
How many Belichicks old is the University of North Carolina?
Oh my God. I really should know this.
He's 72.
Yeah, and wow, where are we? 200 years and 76 for 250 years for the University of North Carolina. Probably what? 220? 70, 3 Belichicks.
Slightly under. UNC officially states that it is 235 years old, making it 3.264 Belichicks old.
Nice. Look at all that math.
All these ages, all these birthday things, I think one Steve Reynolds would be very upset with this binder of radio bits, Dimitri.
Well, listen, the binder of radio bits had to be developed once we fired Steve Reynolds against Biden Salt's better judgment.
That's a good point.
All right, the last true classic in the canon of Christmas movies is probably 2003's Elf. Is that fair, Joe Ovies?
I would say that's a fair statement. Although we have not seen the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce Hallmark movie ripoff yet. That might enter the pantheon.
I believe it came out on Sunday.
Or did it come out already? I haven't seen it yet. You got to talk to your boy Josh. He's a Hallmark Christmas movie fan. I need his review. And Giglio's looking at me like, wait, what? I'm like, yes, they basically made a Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift.
He was buying a Christmas tree and got stuck. She was the big city lawyer, got stuck in the small town.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's called, what is it called? Like a touchdown for the holidays or something.
Are you
like
being
that?
serious right
Yeah,
now?
100%.
Absolutely serious.
And here's the best part.
She have time to make a movie.
No,
she's not in it. And he's not in it. It's a movie centered around the Kansas City Chiefs.
It's the concept.
And here's the best part about this. Do you know why this movie got made?
No, I don't.
It actually, the Travis Kelce Taylor Swift thing is just bonus. It is because Hallmark is based in Kansas City and they could use the stadium for free.
Oh, amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. All right. So what is the question here?
All right. So back to Elf.
As this, yes.
All right. Remember, 2003 is when Elf came out. So how many elves is the age gap between Bill Belichick and his girlfriend?
He's 72. He's 24. It's been 21 years since Elf came out. Do the math, Joe.
Well, more than 2.
Yeah. So where am I going to go?
2.5.
Yeah. I'm going to go with 2.53 Belichick's.
All right. A little bit lower than that, but you're on the right track.
Okay.
And you got the numbers right, 72 and 24. That would make Bill Belichick's girlfriend that would make the age gap between Bill Belichick and his girlfriend 2.286 elves.
Nice. Now, for the Canes tickets, what's the question?
Okay. So, Joe Ovies, you mentioned that Bill Belichick's girlfriend is 24.
Mm-hmm.
That would make Mac Brown how many Bill Belichick girlfriends old?
All right. So email the oggoesdigital@gmail.com.
Yes.
Put in Canes tickets in the subject line. Dimitri will be able to see this.
That's right. And I will look for the correct answers. And if we have multiple correct answers, someone will be drawn as the winner.
Yes. And just a reminder, whoever wins these tickets, do not make direct eye contact with Dimitri.
You may say hello while looking at your feet.
Yes.
I would say they'd have to buy you a Slave and Sunday. I would make that
would
part
be
of the
money.
catch.
That would
You
be
know, I really do love the Slave and Sunday, but I'm always torn between the Slave and Sunday and that special milkshake at the Shake Shack stand. So I don't want to commit to anything until I know what kind of mood I'm in tonight.
sorry, but Dimitri,
why are you fucking with my money right
Dimitri
now?
is two roosters or a global champion that helps pay the bills.
No, sorry.
they're not.
Who? Did you?
That's
You're
fair. That's
editing
fair.
this. Keep it out. Whatever he said the other day.
I'm going to beep that out. Support local. Support
Yes.
local, Dimitri. Okay.
Yes, sorry.
Two roosters. Go get the Slave and Sunday. I do it, and I'm lactose intolerant. That's how committed I am to the corporate champions.
Oh, I've seen the T-shirt concept.
Yes, it's fantastic. All right. The OG goes digital at gmail.com. Answer the question for Dimitri, and you could be sitting next to him at a Canes game tonight.
One more time. How many Bill Belichick girlfriends old is Mac Brown?
All right, Dimitri. Later, man.
All right, bye, boys.
All right, Joe. One last look at Twitter before I hit end here and we publish things. I'm going to ask you a Hey Joe question. Hey Joe, are we doing a second podcast today? Actually, technically a third podcast. Are we doing a second podcast today?
No, because if it's 400 pages, I want to read it. I mean, I get the number one stumbling point will be his son, but if it's 400 pages, I want to read it.
That's going to wrap it up. We'll see you maybe later today. Maybe. Only one way to find out.